This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by the new L'Oreal Paris Bright Reveal Dark Spot Serum and Broad Spectrum SPF 50 Daily Lotion. Dark spots, game over.
So are we supposed to start the podcast?
1, 2, 3. How about that? I'm so excited about this. Let me read you the card because it makes me feel really good.
Okay, so let me describe to the listener what's going on here since they can't see. A listener sent Pumps a clapboard, which I took the liberty of writing Judge Judy Diana on it. And I made myself the director, and I'm embracing my nickname of Jessica.
That's
Put
right.
Kylie down for all the other pertinent parts. But read the card, Pumps.
It's so sweet. I mean, this is how professional my clap has become. For Pumps, there are many of us who have thought you were using a clapboard from Alana Myers, Oklahoma native. How exciting is that?
That is so thoughtful. And now,
So thoughtful.
now you don't have to battle the dragons
I know.
and the microphone and the earphones and all of the, I mean, it was just trench warfare with you trying to get that clap off. And now you have your very own clapboard.
I was having to overcome geometry every time.
You were.
But no, I mean, I feel very important with my clapboard.
You are.
Do I look important?
You are important. You look important. You are basically the top podcaster in the country. So it only seems appropriate that you have a professional clapboard.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like professional now.
You are.
Professional clapper, now with a clapboard.
What have you had it with?
Okay, what I've had it with is when you're watching a TV show or you're watching a movie with someone and you've both just seen it for the first time. And the entire time they're asking you questions about what's going to happen. And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just started watching it too. Why would I have more information than you have? And it's constant, the constant questions. You don't do that to me. Like, we don't sit around and watch a movie and you ask questions.
You know why I don't do that?
Why?
Because I don't like stupid questions.
Well, that's true. But I mean, it's amazing. Does that ever happen? I'm sure Josh does it.
I was just about to say, think about who I live with.
Right. It's worse at your house than mine.
Yes, that is the most annoying.
It's so annoying.
My youngest child does that. My husband does that. And I'm like, in the middle of something. Here's what irritates me really, really, really badly in this same genre of irritations. So I'm in my bed. I like to watch TV in my bed.
Me too.
And I'm watching some foreign film type thing. And I really have to read
Right.
every single subtitle to stay engaged in the plot. Well, Josh likes to come in and start narrating my life, right? So I have to put my hand up, and then my remote control is on my smartphone. So I have to like pull up the remote, pause it. And then he's like, oh, my Maz is getting a remote out. Oh, my Maz is getting irritated. So we're narrating the whole interruption. And he's like, what are you watching? How is it? What's it about? And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's a really huge problem. What about people that talk during the movie?
Oh, I can't stand people that talk during the movie.
At the theater.
At the theater, or they get their phones out and they're texting. It's like, bitch, you're not so important that you have to do texts during a 2-hour movie. I mean, you're just not that important.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That also bugs the shit out of me in my exercise class when people text during the class.
What?
Yes. They'll like have their phone and they'll get on it and be texting during the class. And I'm just like, girlfriend, you are not so special that you can't be detached from the world for 1 hour. I mean, it's annoying.
Texting during exercise?
Yeah. Now I have responded to a text on my watch during exercise class. So I am kind of part of the problem, but I never take my phone in there.
When I exercise, I put on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, yours
on my
always
phone.
says silent. Is that do not disturb?
Yes. I
Yeah.
put on Do Not Disturb because I use exercise as like active meditation, and I don't want any disturbance
Right.
whatsoever during that period, because what I'm doing is trying to get my heart rate as high as I possibly can so that it alleviates like generalized anxiety.
Right.
And so like the phone and alerts from the phone exacerbate generalized anxiety for me personally. So when I'm exercising, I do not want one alert on my phone.
No,
Not
I
one.
totally agree. And I also think it's like the 1 hour of the day that you can completely zone out. Like you're not thinking about everything else that's going on in your life. You're just focusing on what your body's trying to do because you know how uncoordinated I am.
Right.
So I have to really pay attention to
Right.
what I'm doing or I'll fall or something.
Yeah, I would really be giving the evil eye to somebody if I was in an exercise class or on the pickleball court and somebody was using their phone. I mean, that would be an absolute disqualified
Kicked out of the pickleball group.
citation written, pickleball citation issued immediately. You cannot do that shit. Full stop. Like that is no.
It's a violation.
So let me tell you what I've had it with.
Okay.
We've discussed so many facets of air travel,
Yes.
but we have been remiss about an egregious violation. And it may be one of the largest violations that happens at the airport.
What is it?
Jet, bridge, slow, center walkers.
100,000% agree.
So you've got one person.
Yep.
And they have their little tote, their little wheelie bag, and they walk at a snail's pace, dead center
Right.
on the jet bridge. And then you start to get a traffic jam behind them. And
Right.
then I'm always like meandering to the right. And then their bag kind of goes a little bit that way. And then I meander a little bit to the left. And sure enough, they're walking like a fucking slow drunk person. And then they kind of go that way. So I want it said for the permanent record, if you're a slow walker on a jet bridge, everybody wants the fuck out of the airport, the fuck
Right.
out of the airplane. It has not been a fun experience for anybody. You've got to stand to the right as far as you can. I mean, I want your shoulder touching the side of that fucking jet bridge. And you can walk as slow as you want to. You can pussyfoot, you can lollygag, you can dilly-dally, you can take your sweet ass time. But I'm in a hurry.
Right.
I am in a major hurry to end the travel experience as quickly and expeditiously as I possibly can. And I've had it with these slow jet bridge hogs.
No, I totally agree. We just had this happen and you and I are trying to pass on either side and they're kind of weaving and bouncing around. I would almost go as far as to say like super old people can't be the first ones to exit the planes and people with little kids that are walking because they're always so slow and they hog the whole thing. I mean, I think we just
That's what I think we need to do more of. Pick on old people and kids more.
I'm not picking on them.
No,
It's a fact.
I-
They're the slowest. Put them in a line right there on the right. Line up.
So maybe we just say if you're old or you have a kid, you hug the right shoulder of this
Yes.
jet bridge like no tomorrow. I mean, you hug that
Right.
motherfucker as though your life depends upon it. Everybody else can walk to the left. Now, if you're old and a fast walker,
You can stay on the left.
you can pass.
Right.
But I mean, there's all this bossing around at airports. You know, at the TSA, flight attendants are super bossy, which I totally support.
Yeah.
I envy that position. And we need monitors on the jet bridge.
Totally.
It's a neglected area of the airport. The jet bridge is completely neglected, and you've got these lollygag, slow morons hogging and walking like they're drunk. It's almost makes you feel like they're fucking with you.
I know. That's what I was going to say. It almost makes you feel like when you're trying to pass and they're weaving, it almost makes you feel like they're doing it on purpose. Like they're trying to block you from passing.
Maybe they are.
Maybe they are. Maybe they hear you in the back, like walk, 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 walk. And they're like, no, I'm going to block her. Fuck her.
I feel like a lot of anger when this happens. Do you?
Yeah, I get irritated. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I do. I'm just like, move to the side
Right.
or move faster. Like, have a sense of awareness that some of us want the fuck off the plane and
Yeah.
out of the airport.
No, I completely agree. Makes people crazy.
I can't imagine walking that slowly down the center of something and not having an awareness that people could possibly be
Right.
behind me and want to walk at a faster pace.
No, and it's not like it's people like you're and my age or younger that are just dicking off.
I've seen all age.
ages.
Yes, I have seen all age. I don't want to demographically profile this because I've seen every imaginable person, dumbass moron of all heights, weights, ethnicities, genders doing the jet bridge hog.
The last couple I remember were kind of like, I mean, there was no reason for them to be walking so slow other than just lollygag central.
Well, they're just selfish.
Rude.
It's like, can you not clue in? And then I notice, like, I'm like, I'm going around them.
Oh, yeah, I go around.
And I go, and then you can hear this audible.
Right.
I'm like, are you serious? You're in an airport. You're going to get passed at least 1,000 times today. And now you're butthurt on the jet bridge when you're grandstanding and making and everybody that they're trying to get that thing cleared out so they can clean the plane, load it with food. And you've got some lollygagger on the jet bridge. And this has been wholly overlooked. We've done a million episodes about airplane travel and nobody has talked about the jet bridge abuse.
No, they have not. Oh, I did remember. Okay, when we were on the plane the last time, I heard this guy ask the flight attendant. He said, well, my seat's not next to my wife's. And she was like, because there was an aisle. So I guess there were like A and B was across the aisle. And she was like, well, sir, you're just across the thing. And he was like, well, I just thought I'd be next to my wife. And in my head, I'm thinking, you can't be apart from the aisle. I mean, like you're giving the flight attendant a heart. That's obnoxious.
Here's the problem with that too. When you buy your ticket, you have a seating chart and you click the seats you want. So then to go and browbeat the flight attendant that had nothing to do with the booking and the seat assignment. I mean, she had zero responsibility in that. And to air this grievance to the flight attendant is such bullshit. What a dick.
What a dick. And I just thought you cannot sit across the aisle. I mean, you have to make a big deal about that. Like, what a pain in the ass.
How old was this guy?
Old. I mean, he's probably in his 70s, which I'm like, you've probably been married to her for 100 fucking years. You can't get a hard on. What's the big deal about being across the aisle? I mean, that was my thought.
You probably could with Viagra.
Well, that's true. That has changed the game.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie.
She's Judge Judy Diana, the sensation in podcasting around the globe. Kylie, what's going on?
Okay, so I read a 5-star review this morning that I want to share with you.
Okay.
It's by Danny Daniel Ford, and it's titled Thank Goodness. And it reads, Dear Mistress Jessica, I thank you for leading your disciple, Lumps, into her late in life purpose as an absolute snatch master, which is a lesbian.
Okay, I was going to ask what a snatch master was. Okay.
I knew you were gonna. It really suits her now that she's off the rag. Thanks again, Professor Poot.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
So snatch master's good?
I think it's just a slang term he used for since you would be eating snatch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Snatch master. I think it's good for lesbians.
Yeah,
It is. Which, all the corroborating evidence points one direction with you.
I know, but I don't have romantic feelings about women. I wish I did. I think my life would be better.
Your subconscious says otherwise.
That was a really sweet review.
You are a snatch master. Judge Judy Diana, the Snatch Master.
SN.
Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday with Judge Judy Diana, the Snatch Master.
I like it.
It's catchy.
It is catchy.
Yeah, that's good. That should be the title of our spinoff podcast. Judge Judy Diana, the Snatch Master, weighs in on all of the hard-hitting issues facing America, like jet bridge hogs.
Yes.
I like it. Okay, listeners, I want to just take a moment to say that we have a particular amount of downloads that we get every episode. And there's a big disparity in the amount of episodes that are downloaded and the amount of reviews we get on Apple, which means that a lot of you are lazy, inactive, passive listeners. And Judge Judy Diana would like for you to go rate and subscribe to our podcast.
That's right.
Because you are a
snatch master.
Nailed it, Hans. So proud of her. She picked it right up.
Picked it right
put
up.
it down. She picked it right up. Okay, listen. We like to be really salty. And so when we get a lot of feedback about people being mean about drag queens or about our political views, we like to quadruple down and just keep going down and just take the knife and just twist it. And so We have another drag queen on.
I know, and I absolutely love her.
Pumps has been reading her book.
Read it. It's so good.
She is a world-renowned drag queen. Pumps is over there snatch mastering up for this one.
Yep.
Let's welcome Ginger Minj. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by the new L'Oreal Paris Bright Reveal Dark Spot Serum and Broad Spectrum SPF Daily Lotion. Dark spots, game over. Speaking of games, Pumps, I've been playing a lot of outdoor pickleball now that the weather is cooler, and I love pairing the L'Oreal SPF 50 Daily Lotion. In the evenings, I use the L'Oreal Paris Bright Reveal Dark Spot Serum. These two paired together are the perfect duo to visibly fade all types of dark spots is the Bright Reveal Dark Spot Duo from L'Oreal Paris. Just because summer is over doesn't mean you stop wearing SPF. SPF is every day. I have so much sun damage from when I was younger. I have noticed a huge difference since I started this regimen. Listener, discover the new Bright Reveal Dark Spot Duo. Visit Target online and in store to buy yours today. Pumps, have you been holiday shopping?
I have not yet.
Let me tell you where to start. Start at Bombas because their socks, underwear, t-shirts, and slippers are made with such absurdly soft materials, you'll want to keep a few just for yourself. And more good because of every item you purchase, they donate another to someone who needs it. Bombas also has ready-to-go gift boxes filled with high-quality basics your loved ones will enjoy all year long. And the best part, Pumps, they come in a beautifully designed box that you don't even have to wrap. How convenient is that?
It's wonderful.
I absolutely love their socks. They make my feet so warm. They're great to layer with boots. How much do you like your socks?
I love them. I wear them every night since it's gotten cold, and they're so snuggly.
Listener, go to bombas.com/hadit and use code HADIT for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/hadit and use code HADIT at checkout. bombas.com/hadit. Use the code HADIT. Pumps, at your advanced age, have you noticed any hair thinning?
I have actually, especially on one side. So I started using Nutrafol, and it's unbelievable how much thicker it is in just a very short time.
You know, even after like giving birth, I noticed that my hair kind of shedded a little bit. And Nutrafol, I think, is the perfect product for this. Did you know that it is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength? Listener, take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code HADIT. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, that's spelled Nutrafol.com. Use the promo code HADIT. That's Nutrafol.com, and be sure to use the promo code HADIT. Ginger Minj, welcome to I've Had It. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
We're great. I have to tell you just straight up, I fucking loved your book. I read it in like 4 hours. It was so good. It made me hungry, which I'm not happy
Well,
about.
that's good.
No, she has just been sitting at her desk, just judiciously reading this book like you wouldn't believe. She
It's
is
so
obsessed.
good. It really is. It's a great story. I love all the strong women in your background. It was really heartfelt and touching.
Thank you. And I think that behind every powerful drag queen, there's just an army of insanely powerful women who have led them there, you know?
Right.
I love that. I think that that's so true. I think, it's interesting. As a straight woman, some of the most supportive and the people I feel the biggest bond to have been my gay friends from my youth, my late teens and early 20s, and how much they empowered me to embrace being a woman and wearing clothes and owning the clothes that I wear. And out of all of the friends that I've had, these gay friends, and you know who you are, that scattered all over the United States, that got the fuck out of Oklahoma, have been such inspirations to me being a much stronger, more confident woman. Because when you when you approach womanhood in your early 20s, you're just so insecure. At least I was. I mean, I thought I was secure, but looking back on it, I was profoundly insecure. Right. So I'm glad to hear that that's been reciprocal, because gay men have had such a major impact on my life.
Well, and I think it's kind of the same thing as a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's not until we get into our late teens, our early 20s, where we finally have the space and the freedom to explore that. And a lot of the time it's like, well, where does the confidence come from? You have to try to pick out the strongest people in your life and then emulate that and try to fake it till you make it, I guess is the best way to say it. You got to see what you think is confidence in other people and try to make that work for yourself. And at least that's how it was for me. And I finally found myself out in the world on my own and went, I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know how to survive in the world. So I just tried to emulate my mom and my grandmother and have that kind of strength that just kind of came from within from them. And by God, I finally found it. I faked it for years, and then I finally found it through drag.
I love that. Well, Ginger, this is enough of the positivity. That's where this train is going to end. All right. We feel good. Rah, rah, sis, boom, bah. It's time to bitch. It's time to do some world-class shit talking. Tell us what you've had it with.
I have had it with a lot of things. Particularly, most recently, I have had it with all of the negativity towards drag, which I feel is kind of a double-edged sword. There's the one half of it where I'm like, how dare you? We have been around for centuries. We have been the ones at the forefront of a lot of these fights. It was a drag queen who threw the first brick at Stonewall. It was drag queens who kind of rallied the community against AIDS and started all the fundraising and the awareness outreach for all of that. There's always drag queens at the forefront of especially LGBTQIA plus issues. And now you want to turn it all around and look to us and be like, you're wrong. And what you do is disgusting and filthy. And then on the other side of that, it's kind of a compliment that we've now made it become so mainstream that we're suddenly a threat after centuries of what we've been doing. Right. So, I mean, I have had it, honestly, with that. And the people that message me every single day going, you're a sinner and you're going to burn in hell. I'm like, okay. Read the Bible. You read the Bible, Vicky. You're the one that's wearing plastic fucking earrings with mixed fabrics on your body. You're just as much of a sinner as I am, bitch.
Well, and you know what it is about people like that? They are so punitive and so cruel. I'll never forget this. Pumps will remember this. We went on a girls' trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and there was this gal, and she was a big Bible thumper. But of course, she was against, health care for poor people. She was against gay people, and she gets kind of schnockered. And she's like, so you don't go to church, Jennifer? And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm an atheist. And she starts just screaming in my face, you're going to go to hell. You're going to burn in hell. And I was just like, God, it seems like your Christianity really gives you a sense of serenity. I mean, she was such a bitch. She was such a total short-sighted bitch. I still cannot stand her to this day. I think what a phony, fake person. And I see these hypocrites on display every single day, and I'm incapable of being friends with them.
Well, and the worst part of it is I don't have to be friends with them because I'm related to most of it. That is the environment that I grew up in. And the funniest thing was during COVID, during lockdown, my Aunt Glenda Faye, and her name is Glenda Faye, not Glenda, so please do not call her Glenda or she'll have a meltdown. She was staying with us at our house, and I was getting ready to go back to All-Star 6. So I was watching as much Drag Race as possible. We were watching UK Season 2, and this whole conversation pops up about non-binary and gender fluid and all that. And Glenda Faye goes, now, what the hell does that mean? And before I could pipe up and say anything, because, automatically, like my hackles go up and I'm like, I'm ready to attack. And my mom goes, Well, Glinda, it's kind of like Josh, where he never, like, some days he feels more masculine and some days he feels more feminine. And it's just kind of being able to express on the outside how you feel on the inside. That way, you kind of give everybody clues as to how you're particularly feeling that day. Broke it down for her in this way. And I'm just watching this going, this is my mother,
Right.
like my mother, that every time I tried to come out to her for years would go, no, it's just a phase. It's just a phase. She had come around so far that she was fully like listening and understanding. And my Aunt Glenda just stares at her and goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, so it's not that difficult for you people to grasp and understand. Like the concept is not that foreign.
That's neat that your mom did that. Especially after I read the book. I mean, she's come a long way.
A very long way, which is why I was kind of like in the corner, just clutching my pearls.
Yeah. Don't you think, though, a lot of times when people are obsessively obsessed with something outside of their comfort zone, a lot of times it's to mask their own problems, like you were saying in your family. Like you've got the cousin that kidnaps kids, the missing. I mean, a lot of times just idle gossip and stuff is because you don't want to fix what's going on in your own house. So you want to pick on other people.
But I think this issue with LGBTQIA plus is far more insidious than that.
Oh, no, I agree in this.
I think that this is rooted in religion and people getting indoctrinated in their religion, and that life is very black and white, and there are only binary choices. And then out of all the things that they can pick on, they pick on sex, being a virgin till you're married,
right,
and the gays.
They try to prop up this one thing and be like, this is it. This is the target. This is what we're all mad at.
Right.
Meanwhile, everything over here in the corner has just gone to shit and is getting worse.
Yeah.
Right.
But nobody pays attention because they're too hyper-focused on what the actual target is, which turns out to be nothing.
Well, and I think I read somewhere, I don't know if this was in your emails to us or if it was an article when I was Googling, that you talked about, and I think this is really interesting, overt attacks on the LGBTQ community and covert attacks. And there are both. Like the Republican Party in Texas recently put into their platform that homosexuals, it was an abnormal lifestyle choice. And that is in the Republican Party platform. That is an overt attack in documents. And you still have people that probably live in very urban areas that could sit in this conversation with us. They'll say, oh, no, I'm a Texas Republican, but Bobby over here does my hair and I've loved him for years. And you're just like, well, are you loving Bobby? Are you, when you go vote and you vote for that type of hateful platform that says this is an abnormal lifestyle choice? Like, is that really where we are in 2023?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, the people who have like had racism ingrained in them from the time that they were little, they stop and they'll look and like, I literally went to school with girls that would look and be like, oh my God, he's so attractive for a black guy. Right. Or he's one of the good ones. Or when my ex that I was with for 11 years, he was African-American, and I'll never forget the first time he went home with me. I mean, we had our own issues, but aside from that, the first time I took him back to Leesburg with me, there were literally people that were like, oh, don't even consider yourself black around us. You're like a white person to us. And I was like, that is so offensive, because you're immediately letting this person know that you're just meeting. Typically, you're beneath me, but I'm going to overlook the fact that you happen to be a person of color and give you my white card for the day. And I feel like it happens a lot of the same way recently with people of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's like, oh, they're one of the good ones. Or, Josh is a drag queen, but he's not one of those drag queens. Like, there's no qualifying it.
Right.
You're just a person at the end of the day, and you should probably get to know that person before you start persecuting them for anything else about them.
Right.
So, drives me crazy.
Yeah. No, it really is. It's really jarring to see how in my lifetime, I'm 49, how I saw gay rights like for a civil rights movement. It went rapid speed. You had Will and Grace, and then all of a sudden it got in front of the Supreme Court, and politicians started publicly supporting. I mean, very recently in my adulthood, no, we stand for gay marriage. And then the Supreme Court passes it. I remember Obama was president. They light up the White House with the rainbow flag lights on it. And I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. This is so great. And then I just feel like in the last 3 years or something, like I don't watch Fox News or really read right-wing media, but it's starting to seep out everywhere. And these people, they're so mad at I'm like, you really want to pick on a transgendered kid? Do you not think that kid's having a hard enough time navigating school to have fucking Vicky and Brenda at the school board screaming, pulling her hair out by the root? Does that make you feel good? Does it make you feel like a good Christian to pick on the transgendered kid? And it's just mind-boggling how these people of faith that should be fighting this fight are the persecutors. They are the oppressors. And we live, I mean, you're from the South, you know that these type of people, we live around it. But here's the part where it gets covert, is where you have people in polite society, you know, in the white suburbs or in the nice white neighborhoods that say racist things under their breath. And then they say things like, well, I want to make sure that my kids aren't getting indoctrinated at school with all this gender identity stuff. And they say these things, and that's the covert whispers that is getting to where this thing is catching on like a wildfire.
Absolutely. Well, and I've even noticed it. Like my sister has been a special education teacher for the last 25 years. She comes home just like sobbing and in tears because it's not quite, covert anymore, especially in Florida, especially dealing with like race issues. All the teachers were like gathered up in her school and told, you have to give us a list of every book that you own, whether it's in the school or not. If it's in your possession, we need to know what it is. Then we're going to tell you which ones you can keep and which ones you have to surrender. She was like, whoa. Like my sister's an avid book reader. She's like, my whole collection of books that I've had my entire life, I have to list everything. And they said, yes, you have to. And she's like, I'm not going to do it. And then her curriculum that she's had for years and years about the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks. She's not allowed to talk about Rosa Parks.
Is that crazy?
In school anymore. She can't teach these lessons because it might make a white child feel bad.
That's the thing. I mean, people feeling uncomfortable about history, I don't understand that at all. You should feel uncomfortable if you don't want to learn about history and correct course. That's when you should feel bad, not learning about what happened.
Exactly.
And sometimes history is uncomfortable.
It is.
I mean, and that's where the lesson is. I think that is the biggest problem with white culture. And I think one thing Pumps and I are trying to do with this podcast is laugh a lot and be petty, but also talk about uncomfortable things and normalize talking about uncomfortable things. Because as an adult, you can walk and chew gum at the same fucking time. If our listeners can take one thing away from this, it is if you're white and you're heterosexual, you really started life on the 90-yard line of the 100-yard dash, and just try to step out of the indoctrinated world in which you were raised and have empathy for people's plight and what all they have to overcome. Because I didn't have to overcome being heterosexual, and I didn't have to overcome being white. There were no obstacles put in my way for being a straight white woman. None.
Well, and I also have to say, like, as bad as I have it and have gotten it during all of this, I am also a white man at the end of the day.
Right.
So I don't even get it as bad as some of the other drag queens that I know. And I know about indoctrination because I was indoctrinated by the church when I was growing up.
Right.
I had the same exact things, and everybody knew that I was different. My mother would call me artistic, which was just Southern slang for flaming homosexual. And my dad would grab me by the nape of my hair when we would walk into church, and he'd go, sit in the corner, twiddle your thumbs, and don't say anything, because if you embarrass me, I'm going to whoop your ass. And so my entire existence outside of my bedroom was just sitting down very quietly, not saying anything, being careful and mindful of the way that I walked. If somebody asked me a question, I'd have to make sure I wasn't lisping too much when I answered them. Like, it became very, it was abuse, it was control, it was all of these things, but it also became incredibly false for me. So it felt like every time I had like a communication with anybody who wasn't my immediate family, it was pretend, it was a play, it was an act. It's just super overwhelming sometimes to try to reconcile the way that I was raised and those things that were literally beat into me every day with who I am and what I've become.
All of this pressure is put on the LGBTQIA plus community or the Black and brown community. All this pressure is put on them to be a certain way and to be quote unquote fixed. And I think we need to flip the script. Those of us that have deeper thoughts and see these issues as being gray and not black and white, we need to flip the script and say, your church needs to be fixed. You need to fix that. You need to quit teaching this to kids. You need to quit packaging up hate and putting Jesus on the cover of it and then letting people trot that out and feel justified in treating people like shit and making them feel like they're less than you. And I think that those of us that get this need to put the pressure back on them and say, you need to clean your house because what you're teaching is hate and bigotry, but wrapping it up as though, just like that girl told me, oh, you're going to hell. I mean, she's so mad that I was an atheist. And it's like, that's your big fucking problem. That's your takeaway in life. And that's the one time I experienced. I can't imagine as a gay person what you experience from the religious right.
Yeah, imagine being a gaytheist. You just check all the boxes of hate. And, I've used the religion against them as well. And I was like, just by your own logical thinking, reading the same book that you have read that you are quoting from right now, going by that book, you're the person that Jesus would not approve of.
Exactly.
Because he never judged anybody. He hung out with the sex workers and the brown people and everybody that was different. Right. Which, P.S., Jesus also would have been a brown person.
Right.
So all of these things that you hate about everybody else are exactly what this figure that you have put all of your faith and trust and pixie dust in is.
Exactly. Pumps, are you ready to be jealous of me?
What is it?
I'm almost finished with my holiday shopping.
How's that even possible?
Skims. It is totally worth the hype. Not only do you and I wear it personally, but now I'm gifting it to everyone. They're rolling out their holiday shop, and let me just tell you what, there is something for everyone. Sisters, moms, dads, boyfriends, best friends, if you're lucky, and even for your pet.
Skims thinks of everything, and their stuff is amazing.
Skims is creating the next generation underwear, loungewear, and shapewear. Skims makes holiday shopping so easy, listener, with styles for everyone in the family. Skims Holiday Gift Shop is the destination for all of your gifting needs. Believe the hype. Skims has over 100,000 five-star reviews for a reason. Skims Holiday Gift Shop is now open at skims.com. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that Pumps and I have sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select our show, I've Had It, in the drop-down menu that follows. Pumps, do you ever feel like your closet is just like overflowing and then you're like, but I have nothing to wear?
Every day.
This is where I want to introduce you to Quince. Quince creates timeless classics that never go out of style. You'll have them in your closet forever, which makes putting together that outfit way easier. Quince has all the capsule wardrobe must-haves, like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, suede and leather jackets, and silk blouses and dresses. And here's the kicker, Pumps. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Take the drama out of planning an outfit and upgrade your closet with Quince today. Go to quince.com/hadit for free shipping on your order and a 365-day returns. That's QUINCE quince.com/hadit and get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/hadit. Okay, now, Ginger, I want to play a game with you called Had It or Hit It. Oh my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it. Had it. Had it. I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day. Had it or hit it, sweet tea.
Oh, hit it.
Love sweet tea. I'm a huge sweet tea.
I love it. Me too, which is why I have like 3 recipes for it in the book. There's 3 different ways to prepare it. And the thing, I've been over in Europe for the last 2.5 weeks, and I'm here for 3.5 more until I start the book tour. And there's no iced tea at all. Like, I can't even get a regular iced tea and put sugar in it because it's all hot tea over here.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want hot tea. I want hot coffee. And then they only got iced coffee at the Starbucks. So I'm like, oh my God, it's such culture shock to me. And I love it here, but I really want some sweet tea.
Okay. Had it or hit it, thin-skinned people.
Oh, had it.
Had it. Nothing worse.
Had it. No, there's not. I mean, on the actual physical side, they're always too cold or too hot. I've had it with that. And then like outside of that, it's just, you're so concerned about what other people think of you that you forget to realize what you think about yourself. You don't even think about yourself and how you're being viewed or what energy you're putting out into the world. Like, just focus on you and be happy with that. And all of a sudden, you're going to be radiating fucking sunshine and rainbows to the point where everybody else is going to be attracted to that.
Right. You know, I always think that what other people think about me is none of my business. And Pumps feels the same way. So we get a lot of hate comments and we kind of chuckle when we read them. But at the end of the day, I'm like, even though that's about me, it's really none of my business. I really don't think it's my business. I'm like, just go off, do what you want to do. And it takes a while for the listeners who feel like they're sensitive or thin skinned. Start faking it till you make it, because liberating yourself from getting butthurt is the best thing about getting older.
Absolutely.
I mean, butthurt liberation is total serenity.
It absolutely is. And it takes a while to get there.
Right.
And I think that's also why you see, like, particularly in the Drag Race fandom, most of the really hateful stuff. I mean, of course, a lot of it now comes from extreme conservative Christian viewers, I don't even say viewers, but people who attach themselves to the cause. But inside the fandom, it's all like 12, 13-year-old kids who this is so real for them. Like, they view the whole world through their phone now.
Right.
And they watch these shows like Drag Race and they think it's happening live in the moment and that they understand the whole story, and they're only getting little bits and pieces of it. And it becomes very real for them. So they become very attached and then lash out online. And all of a sudden, it's not just, I don't like that you did this. It's, you're the worst thing that's ever lived and you should throw yourself off of a building and then revive yourself and do it again. And 10 years ago, when I did my first season, I used to read all that stuff and not realize the context of it myself, but get so invested, not in the fact that they've made me feel bad about myself, but they've made me feel bad that they feel bad. Like, oh, I've caused you to feel some kind of pain or whatever. And I used to get so wrapped up in that. And then RuPaul is the one that was like, get off the phone, stop reading the comments. And she says it all the time. Unless they are paying your bills, you don't pay them bitches any mind.
That is such great advice.
Yeah, and I literally, we were filming AJ and the Queen for Netflix, and I put my phone down real quick and I was like, I wasn't reading comments. And she said, bitch, I stood behind you for 5 minutes watching you scroll and watching you scowl. Put the phone down and stop reading the comments. So you just have to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Had it or hit it, skincare.
Oh, I'm kind of in the middle, because on one hand, it's like, I want to hit it and I want to get like the best skincare possible because I do take really good care of my skin, but I also want to I've also had it because there's so many products that I'm given. Like, I mean, they just give them to me and they want me to try them out and talk about them. And none of them do what they say they're going to do. You know, they don't protect, they don't blur the lines as much as they should, or I end up being allergic to it in some way or another. And it feels like we have the technology and the know-how to produce some things that are really fantastic for skincare. But we also tend to just throw a whole bunch of shit we don't need, mixed in with a whole bunch of perfumes, put it in a cute package, and then start hurting our skin more and more and more because of the things we're putting on it. So I don't know. I'm kind of in between on that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I want to be like super vigilant about my skin and I take good care of it. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just so overwhelming. And there's so much stuff on the market. And then sometimes I'm like, God, I don't even feel like washing my face, but I do it. But it becomes this other task that you have to do with all of these experts and all of these know-it-alls and all of these recommendations. And it's just like, put a sock in it. I'm going to scrub it, put some lotion on it, call it a day.
I used this one that somebody had given me. I don't even remember what it was. But it was like an overnight face cream. It was a whole system. Then you rinse it off and you put on the toner. And I did the whole thing over the summer while I was doing my residency in Provincetown. And that night in the show, yes, it was a hot night, but I had never had this happen before. My makeup literally lifted off of my face. And I looked like a melting candle where the strips of sweat were. It was just strips of the thick makeup. So I looked like my whole face was melting off. And it was that product that I used. And then I sat down and I realized after doing a little bit of research on what was in it, I was like, this is not helping my skin at all. It's literally putting a wax coating on my face.
All right. Had it or hit it, rushing the holidays before their scheduled allotment time.
Oh, hit it. I love it. Oh my God, it would be Christmas in my house 24/7 if I could get away with it, because I love the lights. I love the tree. I love like the ritual of setting up for Christmas. I love everything about and the music and the TV shows. And I don't know, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy and happy.
You know, that's so funny because I'm not religious at all either. And I love Christmas. And my mother's not religious at all. But she loves Christmas as well. And I remember probably about 15 or 20 years ago, she calls me and she's like, hey, I'm planning Easter lunch and I think we're going to meet here at this time. And I can't remember what I was doing that Sunday, but I knew that my kids were really little and I didn't want to have to get them dressed up. I was like, Mom, I don't think I'm going to come. She goes, you're missing Easter brunch. I said, Mom, we're not even Christian. And she goes, well, Jennifer, I celebrate all the pagan holidays. Ginger, I cannot thank you enough for joining us and for sharing with us your experience as a person and how therapeutic and rewarding the art form of drag has been to you and to other people in the community you've built in that, and sharing that with us and with our listeners is an absolute privilege for us.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been my privilege and pleasure. I thank you both for your time.
Great meeting you.
Thank you.
What a treat.
It is. And I think it's so important to give voices to people who were, made fun of when they were little kids because of their sexuality, or maybe they're a male that appeared to be effeminate. And then a lot of these people have to then get further abuse from their family members.
Right.
And it's a process. And I just think the more we can talk about and normalize and platform these voices, maybe there are some listeners that can realize that they're the problem.
Right. And I really enjoyed the book. I have to say, it was great. I might give it to some people I know that just as a recipe book, see if they'll read it.
I would give it to the people and say, I know you're a homophobe and I
but
wanted
there's
to
some
give
great
this
recipes
to
in
you.
here.
Yes.
I think it's a great
Yes.
It's a great racket.
Yes, I think that's great. Well, listener, please go give us 5 stars and subscribe to our podcast. Send us a voice memo on Instagram. We have a documentary club on Patreon. Do all the stuff you're supposed to do. Pumps, tell them.
We will see you next Tuesday or Thursday or both.